instructions for the first part of the team project that is due on January 9th. If you go to the files that you downloaded for Apollo, click on the Apollo due date, and that will give you the chart that shows what the first part of the assignment consists of. And we're going to be getting our instructions for the first part of the project in 3 emails. We're going to get instructing us to prepare an engagement letter and staffing memo. The email of October 21st, 2011, and then the task of an analysis of the board minutes. That is contained in an email dated January 13th, 2012. The first document, the introduction, does not have any specific requirements relating to the first assignment, but be sure you read it. You can click on the audit background memo, and you see this is the memo dated October 21st. It's from the audit manager, Darlene Morton, and it gives you the instructions. Draft an engagement letter using the minutes that were attached to that email as a basis to complete the form letter that is contained in a separate file. Reading through the minutes in this email and also documents that are contained in the next 2 files we can look at, you're going to write a brief 1-page staffing memo. The use of specialists is discussed over on page 145 of our custom textbook, and it refers you to SAS 73. So let's go over and take a look at what is in SAS 73. Using the link on the portal, we go to the AICPA standards page, and SAS 73 deals with the use of the work of a specialist. This has been codified in AU section 336, so when you click on that, you'll download the PDF for AU 336, and this is the basis. So read through this, see if it applies to the Apollo audit. If you believe that specialists are needed, remember you're going to need to justify it. The use of specialists is going to involve more cost. Whenever you have more cost, you have to have a benefit. So don't just willy-nilly throw out every specialist you can think of, because that's going to increase the cost for the firm and it's going to reduce the profit. And as a audit manager, you're not going to be held in very high esteem if you recklessly increase costs. So take a look at the SAS, the AU section, and apply that. Again, this is a very brief memo. If you feel you need specialists, justify it based on the documents that you've reviewed. The next file is the template for the engagement letter. Depending on the operating system that you're using, you may get this warning. In order to edit this document, you're going to click Enable Editing. This is, in effect, a form letter from the CPA firm. You will then go and complete the required entries. Typically, these are the, and you can see these because these are capitalized words. You're going to have to go in there and, based on the minutes of the board meeting, complete this formula. Pay particular attention to any of the services and things like the amount, and whether you will be using PCAOB or AICPA standards. The next 2 files are for background that you use for all parts, but let me go over it really briefly for you. The 2011 background on the company is in a memo from Larry Lancaster, the audit partner. You see the date of that letter does not give you any instructions, but it does give you critical background information. So early on in part 1, I strongly recommend you read through these documents and familiarize yourself with the operation and financial position and results of operation for the company. And as you go through the audit, you need to understand this background. Coming back to this 10K from the previous year in the next assignment. File 3A gives you the organizational chart for the client. Again, this is for background purposes. The 4.5, the review of the board minutes. That email contains the last part of this project, a very critical part of the project. You see your email instructions is to prepare a memo for the working papers. This will become part of your audit documentation. And we're looking for items that have been gleaned from the minutes of the board meetings that will have an impact on our assessment of the audit risk that the firm is willing to take, and remember, audit risk is assigned, and those items that will help us assess control risk and inherent risk. The company is looking to turn the audit around, but they know as a new client they have to keep the audit risk low, or very low. That's going to impact the amount of evidence. So take a look at the minutes of the meeting and see if you believe that the amount of detection risk that is going to be needed is going to require more or less evidence based on your reading of those items in the minutes of the board meeting. Specifically, in this work paper, you've been requested to look at pieces of information that is going to be relevant to our audit and any audit action that you recommend. So, for example, in reading the first minutes of the meeting of December 15th, 2010, you see that there is a statement about sales are expected to increase by 10%. Well, if you find that it would be relevant and somehow impact the probability of a material misstatement, you would indicate that under the relevant information, and then you would give a brief recommendation of how you would approach that in your audit. So read through the memos, pick out those items in there that would lead you to have audit concerns, and then briefly describe, and no means that I'm expecting the exact audit procedure that you're going to do, but really looking at the potential for mistakes. So going back to the old example, if you believe that the statement that sales will increase by 10% leads to a potential increase of risk in revenue, you would say that the audit will have to take particular attention to, say, revenue recognition. And that's just an idea you can go through. Take out all of those that you feel are relevant, put them in a chart form, and that would cover this assignment. We're not going to be using the file exchanges. The file exchange can only have one file. Since you're going to be assigning work to different people in the group, those people should email me the final document once it's been approved by the team for your final submission.